do a lesson on Photoshop and specifically masking. All right, so I have a few images here that I want to show you in different situations. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and open them up individually in Photoshop. This is somebody else's collage. I might just throw them in there just to show you some techniques. That bothers me. I would put this spawn right just to get rid of that chop. Anyways, let's go File, Open, and let's go based on date added. Okay, so I have an image of a McLaren, three different situations. I'm going to hold Shift and select all three, and Photoshop will open all three of these. Now, I'm going to show you Bridge later on, but Bridge is a nice way of managing files and previewing files. I'll show you that another time. But anyways, let's go back to Photoshop. All right, so to review, if you have an image with a single color background, sometimes it's better to use a magic wand. Now, this situation is going to be interesting because would you guys agree that the white of the car and the white of the background might be an issue? Okay, so let's use the magic wand tools. Now, for those of you that didn't know, remember with the little arrow, you have extra tools. Okay, so by default, you might have quick selection. I have magic wand. So magic wand, guys, as I told you before, if you click on a single pixel, it'll select that color. Now it's on 32, so I'm going to click on here, and it blended into the car. Now I could try and reducing the pixel size. Well, I'm going to hold Shift. Notice over here, guys, when I hold Shift, it toggles between those two tools. So Shift means I want to add to my mask. So it did an okay job. That wasn't too good. Right? And I want to add those pixels and have contiguous on. So it wasn't really the best tool, but not bad. Okay. The quick selection tool, I press Command D to get rid of my mask. What you do with this tool is you do the opposite of the magic wand. Instead of the background, you click on the subject that you want. So you click and drag, and what Photoshop does with pixels, it picks up on the pixels, and when it feels another pixel outside that color range, it stops. Now, here's going to be a little tricky, and this is where it's nice to have the shortcut command. I'm going to press spacebar and command, and click and zoom in. It goes back and add on, and I have the add-on mask feature, which is also Shift as well, and you can add to the area, but it doesn't really do a great job. Well, it does a decent job, not bad. So I'm going to click this and add to that, and Photoshop sees the difference between the edge of the car and the background, so it's doing a decent job here. And I can increase my brush size a bit to make this a little faster. And you're just adding to the area. So decent job, had a tricky time right here picking up on the hood. Let's decrease the size by the smaller parentheses here. And it's doing a good job, but that's really hard for the computer to differentiate that white and that white there. But it's doing a decent job. Okay, press Command 0. So that's another way you could select objects is using the quick selection. Okay. But I'm going to show you even an easier way. Oh, and then do the back end here. See how that picked up a bit of that white, and that getting that white picked up the whole background. So not a good thing. I'm just going to leave it there. Yes, you remember the lesson, I can also grab the lasso tool or magnetic lasso, and I can add to the area as well and freestyle the mask as well and add on to it. Guys, if you're talented enough, you can just click around the whole car with your hand, but it's a little tricky. So that's not bad, but there's way better ways to do this. So anyways, I will press Command C. So I'm copying that area that the mask is selected. And I will press Command V and automatically paste it into a new layer. Oh, did I forget the wheel? Oh, snap. Let's add this area to it. Command C. Let's delete that layer and Command V and paste it back in there. All right, so there's a vehicle. It's not bad. And in retrospect, I can probably use my magic wand tool. And see how I'm using different types of tools, guys? You don't have to use the same one. Click that white area and delete, and you get the see-through going through. So a combination of tools, but as I go to the edges, yikes. Is that good, guys? Yeah, a little rough, huh? Okay. Now, magic wand tool in the situation like this, if I use a magic wand tool, hold shift, mind you, my tolerance is a 10. I'll go back to the default 32, and it should pick up all the white. Now, you're probably wondering, a little bit, you pick and choose whether you want more. You just press shift and add on to that area. So I'll inverse this. That means selecting everything else. Notice how the car selected only and the background's gone. Okay. So just to go back on that, guys, if I press delete now, sorry, I got to unlock the background. You can do that, but you don't need to do that because honestly, you just want to get the car and bring it to your collage. So to be honest, inversing it and copying is all you really need to do. So Command C to copy it and paste it. Okay. Now, you guys know the eraser tool. This is where you might want to consider getting the eraser tool, getting a nice feathered brush, and maybe playing with the opacity a bit. So this will erase it, but only kind of fuzz the edges a bit. Gives you that feather technique. Okay, you can brush it and get that little ghosting effect on the back end. And the more passes you do, the more it erases the pixels. Okay, so that was an easy situation. So if you download a vehicle with a single color background, magic wand tool. This one you might want to use a combination. This one, wow, this is going to be easy. Depends. It depends whether you want the shadows or not. Okay, so you might try, hey, let's use that quick selection tool that Mr. Almeida used. That looked pretty sweet. Okay, so I'll click and drag and move around, and it should do a decent job if you want the sucks. Damn it. Is there a way? Tell me, Mr. Almeida, is there a way to do this properly? Yes, there is. Okay. I'm going to do something really quick. I'm going to right-click on this and duplicate. So technically, guys, I have two of the same thing over top of each other. I'm going to go to some image and adjustments. I'm going to play with the, let's go with levels first. So levels is a cool way to increase or decrease contrast or brightness. And I'm actually going to blow up and blow out this vehicle so I don't see any shadows. And you're probably like, why would you do that, sir? I'll show you why. Notice, did I apply it to everything? No, only to the above layer. I still have the original. So the right-click duplicate was there for a purpose. The reason why I do that, guys, is I want to see the difference between the shadows between the, I guess you'd say the bumper or the air dam of the car. And I'm going to create a pen path. Now, this tool is not easy to use at first, but is the most accurate way to close crop a vehicle or an object. What I'm going to do in this painstakingly task, you got to do it and takes time. I'm going to zoom in on the area. I'm going to start my path right here. I'm going to click and drag and make curves. I am going to hold the Alt key in this point because I'm going to change direction. It's going to refresh the point, and I'm going to drag a nice vector line around the object. And I pick and choose, not the computer, the path and pixels I want to trim out. I'm going to zoom out a bit. This is for people that want perfection. If you don't care for perfection, use other tools. So I'm creating a path around the vehicle. Okay. And I'm deciding not to use a shadow. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of the tire. Clicking and dragging, making nice curves. And if you just click and let go, you just get straight lines. Now, obviously, if I was closer, I'd be more accurate. But you get the gist of it, right, guys? You're saying, wow, sir, this takes a while. So this is something you'll do in a magazine cover. where you need the perfection because you're printing out 50,000 to 100,000 copies and you want the crop to be nice. Okay? So I started where I finished. I right click on it and I say make selection. It now made a mask. Well, I'm going to hide this. You see what I did? I just used that layer just so I can see the shadows away. I'm going to press Command C. I'm copying that area. And now I go back to my collage and I have a oops. Wrong layer. I gotta make sure that's selected, my bad. Command C, and I paste the vehicle. Now that's a sharp, clean extraction of that photo. Would you guys agree? Yeah. Somebody asked me, can I change the flip the image? Go to Image, Edit, Transform, and there's a thing called Flip Horizontal to Vertical. This on the layer selected, so on layer 4 on this one. See how that changed the rotation of it? You guys see that? Okay, so guys, I'm just exploring the different techniques. I'm not saying the Magic Wand tool is the best tool. I'm not saying the Quick Selection is. I'm saying the pen tool is. However, sometimes you don't need to use the pen tool. Okay, it depends on your situation. You have a nice photograph. You want the vehicle to be knocked out. So knockout is the term I use for extracting the background, foreground object. Okay, so you pick and choose. Like I say, guys, you can just use lasso and add and subtract. You pick and choose the best tool for the situation. Is that cool? That's my lesson for that.